Good morning, beautiful being. It's great to see you. And here we are outside. It is officially cold today. There isn't actually any frost on my lawn, but that's because it's long. There's certainly frost elsewhere, so I'm not promising to stay outside for the whole time. But I want to show you the world because, you know, it's pretty. So here's the sky, which is just very ordinary, but I guess there's no such thing as ordinary when you're looking at the sky. Good morning, Philippa. It's been ages. Hello, Linda. It's great to see you. And here's the garden, which is kind of pretty to look at, which is this part. We've got paper white at the bottom, and you've got the star magnolia coming out. You can see the flowers at the back are starting off, but soon enough it'll be covered. And here's some paper white a bit closer up, so you can see the detail. Good morning, Nora. Good morning, Rudy. It's great to see you. And hello, Magda, because I know you won't be far away. Forgetting to show you. Look, this. I love these little things. They're actually not snowdrops. I keep forgetting. They are called snowflakes. There you are. You can see the dew on them. They're so pretty. And they just come up in abundance. A little bit behind the jonquils, which at the moment are the thing that's happening here. Clearly, there's a lot of them. Colours and different. See, we've got long petals and we've got short petals and different colours. Single, and then more of the single jonquils. Let me get a bit closer. And then down here we have this one's double relative. It's called early chair. It's actually got a name, but it's a very old-fashioned jonquil. It's been around for a long time. So it's just pretty. Oh, and the soldiers and sailors are here as well. Properly out for the first time. Let's get a bit closer. Trampus, it is gorgeous to see you. Look at this, isn't it gorgeous? Just covered in dewdrops and, you know, everything is gorgeous. And there is the foliage, which I always find so beautiful. And let's not forget this, which is a New Zealand native, and it's also wonderful. But look at the water droplets on this. You know, flowers are great, but I love leaves. I love foliage. Okay, all right. What else have we got here? There's a little thing happening here which I kind of forget to show you, apart from the fact that it needs weeding. We have another little flower that's sort of blue and pink. It's a ground cover, and it's just lovely to be able to show you that. Flowers in the middle of winter, when everything else is asleep. The rose is certainly not doing anything except being asleep. And let me show you. See, this is the other side of the garden. There's the yellow jonquils that you can see sprouting here. They're really pretty when they come out en masse. There's the lemon tree with its fruit starting to turn, but they won't be ripe for a while. And there is the circle garden, which looks pretty awesome like that. Okay, so now, today we're talking about saying yes and saying no. Because, you know, Friday I know we were talking about manifestation, and I know there's more questions going to come up about that because they're coming in, which is great. But Nora, it was you actually who asked about saying no, although you're not the only person who's mentioned it. And it's challenging because, me too, we get programmed with the idea that unless we keep everybody happy, we're not going to be loved. Really, short version. And so you then are, particularly as a child, placed in this impossible situation where you have to choose between yourself and your emotional survival, maybe even your physical survival. And that's a tough choice to have to make. And, you know, and the other thing is that when you're very small, before the age of 7, you don't really have an analytical mind to realise that's what you're doing. It's just, well, if I'm going to be loved or fed or protected or whatever, I have to be a, you know, good boy, a good girl. I have to do what I'm told. Now, I don't like it, but clearly that's just how life is, so this is what I got to do. And it becomes normal to not do what's really good for us, what feels good. And I'm not saying that children should just always do what feels good, because we all have to learn how to do things that we don't want to do. There are jobs, there's homework, there's, maintenance, there's all that stuff. But most of us have, accidentally or on purpose, are programmed to say yes to others before ourselves. Yeah, it is challenging to say no to real problems, to real things that are demanding you to say, I need you to do this or the world is going to explode. And, I know if you're in a situation of caring for somebody, that's really challenging. And I actually am not experiencing that. I have not experienced that myself in the most difficult way, like if you have an elderly parent with dementia or something where they're totally dependent. And of course I chose not to be a parent, actually for exactly the same reason. I just didn't want that level of dependency ever. It was like the worst nightmare. So there's that situation where you can't actually say, piss off, I don't want to do this. And it's a very fine line to walk. It's like, okay, so there are things I have to do, right? There are responsibilities we all have. So you have to work out how to meet your responsibilities without destroying yourself. And sometimes you get to the point of realising, actually, these responsibilities are wrong for me, and I need to make a more fundamental change in my life than I really thought. And that's a whole nother story. But at the same time, there's the other situation where there is so much need in the world and all around us. I mean, you don't have to look very far to see need, right? Porewa, it's great to see you, honey. And we can kind of feel responsible to fix everything. Hello? Oh yeah, very, very easy. If you've got a compassionate heart, if you're aware, if you pay attention, if you notice when people are hurting, the kind of normal and inbuilt response for most people is to actually try to do something to fix it or help it. Oh yes, spirituality. And bear in mind, Sana, good morning, that spirituality is not necessarily very spiritual. Oh dear. She says, now what do I mean by that? What I mean is that some philosophies, let's call it a philosophy to take it out of the realm of religion, some ways of thinking about life, some approaches to life are so based upon the idea that, for example, life is about overcoming suffering. That's it. And when you finish overcoming suffering and you finish your life, then you go to nirvana. That, many people, and this was me, so I can talk about this from personal experience, many people in the Christian faith believe that. Oh, my life is crap, there's suffering, there's all this stuff I have to do. This was me. It's hard, it doesn't feel good, I don't like it. But when I die, I'll go to heaven and it'll all be worth it. And at age 21, I had kind of a hell no. Literally. Hell no. It's like, stuff it, if I can't question this and find something that actually works for me now as well as later, then whatever deity I think I'm, allowing to guide me probably isn't deity at all. It's a whole other story. So if you're living by a philosophy that says everybody else comes before me, life is about suffering, life is hard, I get to enjoy myself after all the work is done, well, then you're really accustomed to saying yes to everybody else and putting yourself last. And what I've discovered, and am still occasionally, really at very deep levels discovering, is that I have to come first. Why do I have to come first? Well, feck it. If I say, oh my God, there's a disaster over here, and I give all my money to that person, and they're better, for however long they're better before there's another disaster that needs someone else to bail them out. And then there's another disaster. How can I help them? I've used it all up. I've got nothing left. I've stressed myself out trying to fix everybody, and now I'm sick, and now somebody has to look after me. This doesn't work. So, if I put myself first, if I give sustainably and in a way that actually works for me and is edifying for me and feels good for me and doesn't make me feel, oh God, I've got to give some more. We all these fucking people sort their shit out so I can have a life because I can stop trying to fix everything for them. You know, that. I don't want to be like that anymore. Yes, we can quit when we're dead. Yes, well, screw that. I know that's not what you believe, Linda. I really do. So, there's a whole... I guess what I'm saying in my roundabout fashion is that there's a whole lot of baseline assumptions that we make into us at societal level, at cultural level, maybe at religious level, certainly in our families, which of course are programmed societally and culturally and religiously, it's all the same stuff. It just comes to us from different channels, if you like. And we just assume this is how life is. So then you start to think, oh, bugger this, I've had enough, and you start to want to choose yourself, and really you have to start saying yes to you, and that means saying no to a ton of stuff. And when you feel bad about saying no to stuff that you have previously said yes to, the reason you feel bad is because there's a tug, right? There's a pull, there's a I should be doing this. Good people do this. Responsible people do this. Whatever it is, there is something inside you that says, I should be saying yes to this, but hang on a minute, I don't want to. And there's this tension. So when I am in that situation, I always have to get curious. I have to get present with myself enough. And I don't always know immediately. I had it happen a couple of days ago. It's like, what am I fighting here? But I was. I think, well, what am I really feeling that I should be doing? Or what do I need? Forget about why. It does not matter why. The thing is, if you're feeling guilty or bad or, like you've committed some crime for saying no to something that is bad for you, and you know it's bad for you, you know it's not sustainable, you know that you resent it, you know that the person that's you're supposed to be loving by giving this thing is like, oh, bastard, I'm sorry, you get resentful, right? That's not loving to you, and it's not loving to them either, by the way. So you know this, and you want to make a different choice, and yet you feel really guilty about it. It's like, the only thing that matters, and it can have nothing to do with the person or the situation that you're saying no to, honestly, can have nothing at all to do with it. The only thing that matters is you getting present with yourself for long enough, persistently observing and noticing, paying attention, awareness, noticing, paying attention. What am I really feeling I'm supposed to do here? Or, another question is, well, what would make this feel better for me? Oh, well, I need that person to be okay. And if I don't do the thing, then they won't be okay. And then it's like, well, you need them to be okay, but actually, is it your responsibility for them to be okay? Hi, Jen. Hi, Julian. It's like responsibility and choice versus coercion or assumed responsibility, or, it's my problem and everybody expects me to do this. And people get really accustomed to, those of us who are fixers, people get really accustomed to the fixers fixing things. And when you stop fixing things, not only do they sometimes get, very upset because how dare you stop fixing me up when I keep digging myself in a bloody great hole all the time, but also you have an identity as a fixer and you get a certain amount of affirmation and, oh, thank you so much. You dug me out again. I'll do it again next month just so you can do it again and feel like a great fixer again, It does go round in circles and there is a certain amount of, if you want to call it codependency, enabling. There's a dance. And responsibilities, true responsibilities, are things that you think, yes, I really am responsible for that. Okay. And also then the next thing is, do I want to remain responsible for that? And if you do, great. Manage it in a way that works for you. And if you don't, well, it might take you 1 week, 1 month, 1 year to change how you're responsible for that thing that you don't wish to be responsible for anymore. But if you're clear about it, then you will make those changes. And, the thing is, if people leave their broken things in your lap, the question is, do I even want to fix this? And if you don't want to fix it, it takes guts to say, no, I'm sorry, you created this shit, you stand in it. And walk the hell away and leave and, turn off the phone, change it. Honestly, because I value my own space and my own right to choose for myself, my own self-determination, if I had that stuff going on, I would just make the changes necessary to have it not going on anymore. It's like, how dare you dump your shit on me? I'm sorry. On what planet am I responsible to fix your crap up? Get really grumpy about it. I do. It's like, don't dump your shit on me and expect me to fix it up for you. You deal with your own stuff. And if you don't want to deal with your own stuff, that's fine. But I'm not going to do it for you. It's like, that's your choice. And the thing is, if people are used to you stepping into the space and fixing it up for them so they can break it again, the first few times you say no. You can throw a purple fit, you can have a tanty, and I'm not going to respond anymore. Yeah, here's the shovel, here's the bucket, I'm out of here. Diana, great to see you. And they can throw a purple fit, and you have to, depending on the people in the situation, you actually have to think it through and think, okay, if they do throw a purple fit, am I prepared for that? Do I know how I'm going to manage myself? Am I prepared for that person to disown me, leave my life? You actually have to think it through, because it's part of caring for yourself. If I say no to this, am I ready to deal with the consequences? By the way, chances are, if you want to say no to this person or people or situation that's dumping shit on you, the best thing you probably can do is to, have that person, situation, whatever, go away. But it's funny, I don't know, I'm aware that I see those kinds of things very black and white. It's like, I don't want you in my life unless you really bring me joy. Unless I find you satisfying, unless I find you engaging and enjoying and, frankly, worthy of the investment of my time. Because it's really precious to me, see? So that's how I think about it. It's just streets, worlds away from how I used to think about stuff. So, if a relationship, if a situation isn't worthy of my time, my energy, then I'm going to take my time and my energy out of that. And I'm going to do it in a way that's the most respectful and the most loving that it possibly can be, but I am not going to pick up after people and their crap ever. No! Sing Marie, good morning, gorgeous! And there are those of you who know that I will go to great lengths to help people when I want to. But I absolutely will not empower victimhood. I just won't do it. Because, that's not loving to me. I say yes to myself first before I say yes to anybody. And sometimes it's really hard to do that. But I know that if I say yes when really I want to say no, it's only going to bite me in the ass, and it won't wait. It'll bite me in the ass straight away because I'll be doing something I don't want to do. And that creates a level of dissonance and disharmony and incoherence in me that I simply can't tolerate. It's just so painful. So, there's a fair degree of kick-ass hell no in me now. Just no. I've got to freely choose and really desire to do something. And, there are still things in my life that I have to do because I'm responsible for them and I don't particularly enjoy them, but I get them done and I do them in the best space that I can. I don't have an awful lot of those, but I do have some, and I take care of them because I've got to do that. But if I have the choice, and I do most of the time now because of the way I've created my life, and that's had consequences, hasn't been easy, and it's still a challenge at times, then I will only say yes to the things that I genuinely want to do. And it's moment to moment. I can never assume that just because I said yes last week, it means I'm going to say yes today. I've got to always be checking in. What's my truth now? Who am I wanting to be now? What do I want to do now? What's right now? Because I'm changing so fast, I can't assume anything. People that were really resonant and connected for me a year ago are like, no, now, we change. So to continue to say yes to me, I have to say no to a whole lot of stuff. And it gets easier with practice. Clearly it does. And I guess you just have to be willing. If you say no to something, you have to really be lined up with saying no to it and letting it go and being willing to have the people who are trying to impose things on you because it's convenient for them or whatever, go away. You got to be willing to let go. You got to be willing for things to fall away. It's like you can't keep that needy victimized person around you and not have them be needy and victimized. And sometimes you just have to let people fall into their own crap for a while and realise, oh my God, this is crap and I created it and nobody's digging me out now. And you have to be willing to let them take that journey until they're finally ready to change. Because you can't get anybody to make that choice for them. I mean, they've got to do it themselves. And so the only person you're responsible for is you. And the more you choose yourself and empower yourself and don't be the victim yourself, the more you are a model for other people who are still behaving like victims. They'll see something different. And if they're ready, if they're willing, if they want to make the change, well, then they can look at you and go, oh, she used to do that. He used to do that. Don't do it anymore. And they might start to think. So that's my rave about yes and no. It's very powerful. It's essential if you're going to manifest the life that you want, because if you want the life that you want, you've got to say no to absolutely everything else. And that's challenging. It's also absolutely worth it. So, big love. Thank you so much for joining with me today. Listen to the birds. Mostly blackbirds, I think. And the odd sparrow. It's a beautiful Monday morning. It's cold out here, but not that cold. It's great to spend it with you. Big love. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.